Alright, welcome back to lesson 22.2, Shape, Center, and Spread. In Explain 2, we'll be making and analyzing a box plot. So here it says use a graphing calculator to make a box plot. As you can see here, we're not going to be using that because we want to use an online tool to do that, and I'll show you how to use that. So here's a table that gives data from a random sample of 20 babies born at a hospital. So not only for the baby's birth month, weight, but also mother's age. So for Explain 2, Part A, we're going to make a box and whisker plot of the mother's age. Okay? And we're going to see how does the box plot show that the distribution is skewed. So they're already giving us a hint that it's going to be skewed, but we're going to explain how. Okay, first thing that I want you to do is I'm going to show you what values we'll be using, which is the mother's age. There's about 10 and 10 more, making a total of 20 values that we're going to enter into our box and whisker plot. So let's go ahead and do that. So here I just Googled box and whisker plot maker. I'm going to click on the first choice here. And I'm going to click on data, and since I have about 20 items, I'm going to go ahead and say that I have about 20 items. So there's 20 items, and I'm going to go ahead and enter those in. So I can enter these in this way, or rather than doing that one at a time, which I mean we could do, but we could also kind of type in some values. So like 28, 31, 33, 35, 39, 30, 29. So take some time to enter in the rest, okay, and make sure you're doing that correctly. So once you've typed in all 20 values correctly, we're going to go ahead and display our graph. And as you can see here, there's our box and whisker plot. And you can actually see that one side has a very long whisker. In fact, the part of the box, as it says, so as you can see here, it says the part of the box to the right of the median, which is this line right here in the middle, is slightly wider than the part to the left. And if you notice from here, yes, that's true. It's a little bit wider than the left side. And the whisker, you'll notice here, wow, that's a long whisker. That's on the right side. And it's a lot longer than the one on the left. So that's how we know this is going to be right, skewed to the right. Okay. For part B, it says suppose that one of the mother's ages is chosen at random. Based on the box plot and not the original set of data, what can you say is the approximate probability that the age falls between the median and the third quartile? Okay, so let's just think for a second. The word quartile. Okay, so let's think about that word. Quartile kind of sounds like quarters a little bit. So the word quartile kind of sounds like quarters. Alright, and how much is a quarter worth anyways? About 25 cents, or as a percent, 25%. So probability is going to be about 25% because the median and the quartile 3 divide the data into, well, let's think about it. How many quarters are there in $1? 4, right? It's just like quartiles, quarter, there's about 4 pieces. There's a median, which is the middle, first and third, and then our fourth quartile. All right? And then last but not least, For part B, it says using a graphing calculator. Instead, we're going to use our box and whisker plot maker of the data to analyze the graph. So it gives us a list of ages of random sample of 16 people who visited a doctor's office. So here's our random sample, and we're going to make a box and plot. We're going to make a box plot of ages. They're going to ask us, how does the box plot show this skewed distribution is skewed to the left? Okay, so let's go ahead and make that and just verify if it actually is. So I'm going to go ahead and Google and use the first one I see, create a box and whisker plot. And I'm going to go to data. I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste some numbers. So I'll type in 80, 52, 78, 64. Take some time right now to go ahead and type in the rest. So now that we've typed in all those values, let's go ahead and click over to where it says display your data. And as you can see here, they did create that for us. And you can see that essentially it says make a box and whisker plot, so we did. And you'll notice that the part of the box and the part of the box to the left. So the part to the left of the median, which is that middle line here, is slightly wider than the part to the right. In fact, you'll even notice this time the whisker on the left is much larger than the one on the right, thus showing that this is going to be skewed to the left. And again, suppose that one of the ages is chosen at random, based on the box plot and not the original data. What can you say is the approximate probability that the ages fall between the first quartile and the third quartile? So this is much like part A, where we talked about quartile meaning like quarters, right? And we realized that quarters are worth about 25 cents, right? So let's say we want to go from between the first quartile and the third quartile. So let's be between 1/4 and 3/4. Well, the difference between 1/4 and 3/4 is 2/4, right? And 2/4 is worth about how much? 50 cents, right? So that would be about 50%. And that's because all of this stuff is divided. It divides all of our data into about 4 equal groups, because remember there's 4 quarters in a dollar. And since there's 2 parts, like I said, between 1 and 3, that's worth 25% each. Okay, just like it says here, stop and do the problems in the packet. We'll come back with the next explain or homework in just a moment.